February 24th, 2025 meeting of the Fitchburg School Committee. I call this meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting an audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. If anyone's recording, let me know. I see nobody. Thank you. I ask now that all electronic devices be placed into silent mode. Okay, so we will do the salute to the flag. I have school committee member Deb Jeffries to lead us in the salute to the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next up on our agenda, we have school committee members and student reports. School committee chair report, no report at this time. Report of the resource subcommittee.
We will be meeting tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, 5 p.m.?
Yes.
Yep.
Fantastic. And next, the school building needs?
We'll be meeting tomorrow night at 5:30.
5:30. All right. Thank you. Any questions? All right, seeing none. We'll move on to policy subcommittee.
We will be meeting Wednesday night at 5 o'clock, central office.
What are we on, Jay?
Jay?
Jay today, this week. We've got a busy week this week.
Yes.
This is the one where we're talking about the
Yes, the student
student representatives.
So we're going to get guidance on that, and then we'll be able to move forward after Wednesday night.
So we're gonna discuss the student representative situation on Wednesday night.
Correct.
Then we're gonna be able to have the school committees or the student.
Yes, not for, because I think our
Councils.
next meeting is the next Monday, I think, correct?
Yes.
We have back-to-back meetings, so
Yes.
it won't be done, but it will be done for the 17th. That's our goal. March 7th.
Fantastic.
Yep.
All right, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day, that's right.
Okay. Student support subcommittee. Dr. Knight is not here. School personnel, school committee, there's no report at this time. Student representatives report, we just discussed. We will likely have our new student representatives. We're hoping for the March 17th meeting or shortly thereafter. Okay, great. Any questions on any of the reports? All right, great. We have approval of the minutes from the previous school committee meeting from February 3rd.
Motion to accept the minutes from February 3rd meeting.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Fitchburg School Committee from Monday, February 3rd. Any questions, comments? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you. All right, next on our agenda, communications. Flag football letter.
Yes. I'd be looking to send a letter to the MIAA in support of the girls flag football at Fitchburg High School. I read an article in the paper that the MIAA voted down to recognize flag football as a school program and be accepted by MIAA, be interscholastic. We have club football at Fitchburg, and our young ladies have been very successful at club football.
Is that different than flag?
It is.
Well, flag football, and they've been very successful.
We went to Gillette Stadium.
Yes, we did.
Yes. And throughout the state, they had petitioned to become a member, like a regular football team or whatever, and with the same benefits of having district championships and state championships. But MIAA voted it down. From what I read in the paper, it was opposed by softball coaches and girls softball coaches and girls track team.
Because they play at the same time?
Because it's at the same time, but I'm sure they're worried about the star sprinter wanting to be a wideout, and maybe the softball pitcher wanting to be a quarterback. But that's not up to us to decide what sport a girl wants to play. And I would just like our school committee to send a letter to the MIAA in support of flag football being an interscholastic sport for high school students.
I'm absolutely in favor of that, and as chair, and mayor, I can write a letter on my letterhead. I'd be happy to
Would
do
you
that.
do-
We
would-
could all sign on, whatever.
Absolutely.
Would you do? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
If you want to give me some bullet points,
Okay.
I'd be happy to
Yeah,
craft that
I
letter.
will, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a clarifier too? Mrs. Stevens, that wasn't Fitchburg High School girls softball or track that was?
No, it wasn't.
No,
No,
that's
no,
the
no.
state
It was
level, yeah.
on the state level,
Right.
on the state level. No, we have some great coaches that, and would be supportive of the girls.
And if I remember correctly, I think it said that they were going to bring it up next year again,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
As
So I-
another vote. So I think it's the right time to write.
It's the right time for us to write a letter and be supportive of
Yep.
it.
And Anthony Aquendo, one of our star football
Yes,
players,
yeah.
number one in what, 2021, 2022?
Yeah.
He wrote me, he's involved with the
Yeah.
girls' football team, and he was flag football, and he was looking for, to discuss that.
Yeah, very good.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Next up on our agenda, we have public comment. We have public comments of no more than 5 minutes in length were offered to be submitted to the superintendent by noon today. Did we get any of those?
No, we did not.
Okay, I now invite anyone in the audience that wishes to speak for public comment, approach the podium, identify yourself by name and city. Seeing none, we will move on. On the agenda, we have superintendent's report, my favorite part.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I appreciate it. This evening, we have a few items for you. The first item, we have some visitors today. We have Miss Mercandante Wong from Fitchburg High School here. She is here to ask permission to bring a group of students to Middletown High School, Connecticut, for a musical performance. So would you like to come on up and discuss that with us? And then it looks like we have a presentation too this evening, right?
Musical instruments.
Music.
Absolutely. We weren't sure how many of the members of the choir would attend, but we do have 4 very dedicated members.
Thank you for coming.
That did come. Do you guys want to stand up and introduce yourselves? Yeah, you made a vocal part.
Come on up. Come to the front so we can hear.
We're doing mic time.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So that everybody at home can hear who you are and what instrument you play, all right?
Piccolo, right?
My name is Monica, and I sing alto and tenor.
My name is Liv or Olivia. I do play the piccolo, as Madam Mayor did say, and then I also sing soprano.
My name is JJ Rosa. I am a tenor.
My name is Jose Barreto, and I sing soprano.
So 2 students were accepted, correct?
The 2 students are Monica and JJ.
Yay! Congratulations.
So we can talk about, I have some handouts that I printed out for certain members of the committee. We'll do the talking first and then we'll do our performance. So the first thing is this invoice, and I know that Glenda, you had requested that. So there's a copy for you, and then I don't know if Jeremy or...
Give it to Jeremy.
All right, thank you. And then, in addition, so these are just copies of the concert festival. It's the student handbook. So it's everything you need to know hour by the hour, what they're going to be doing from Thursday to Saturday. And, where the chaperones are going to be, where they're located, everything is in this little thing. I don't know if you want to just pass it down. In addition, this also breaks it down a little bit more detailed. It's just a different format. It's the same thing. It's a festival schedule, but kind of a list format. It's a double-sided thing. Yeah. Thank you. Actually, can I keep what was?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. So the first thing that the kids actually are expected to do, I don't know how much everyone's interested in this, but I'll just...
Yeah, you can run through it quickly, that's fine, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
98th annual.
Okay.
So quick,
So, yes.
quick question. When you were here was it in the fall, early fall?
Yeah, yep.
And at that point, your students are going down to compete to see who would be going forward to?
No.
No,
it's-
okay.
So this is, the first round was the competition, and so this is like the celebration,
Okay. Oh,
what we
okay.
call the concert festival. So now
Okay.
we're celebrating the achievements by basically doing a really condensed musical experience of intensive rehearsals for 3 days.
Okay.
They're going to be in rehearsal all day,
Okay.
from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and then in the evenings, they have these really great events. Student musicians from select high schools in New England are going to perform. So the kids with the top scores at the festival are going to perform Thursday evening, Friday evening. And then on Saturday is the concert festival, the actual concert itself. And we have jazz band, chorus, concert band, chorus. So what they do, they have like staggered arrival times depending on, which school. So session 1, schools within 1.5 hours. Session 2, schools within 3 hours. Session 3, schools farther than 3 hours away, which are probably, the northern Vermont schools, the northern Maine schools. So we're only about like an hour and a half drive, so that it makes it a little easier for us. But there's something called a remedial session, where this is actually a really great educational thing because they rehear the kids on the music. So they give the kids the concert music. It's kind of scary. We've been working on it a little bit, and the kids get re-listened to basically, and just to make sure that everyone's kind of on the same page and we're working as a team. And so yeah, and then after that, that's the nervous part. After that, 2:15, 2:45. Hold on, let's see. Around the 2 o'clock hour rehearsal starts. Then dinner, 8:30 p.m. Groups dismissed. So it's not like too long of a day, but it's a very intensive day. Then Thursday, again, the kids start rehearsal, I think 8:30 a.m. All meals are, provided on site. Kids are taking buses to and from the hotels to the school to, get to and from the rehearsals. And then Saturday is the performance day.
Okay. And you're going down with them?
So my question is, I didn't know if there was a specific policy. Can I drive them in my own vehicle, or do you require me to use the minivan again?
If we get the parents' permission,
Yep.
they can go down with you in your
Excellent.
vehicle, if that's okay?
Yeah, because it's like a big vehicle to just do two.
Yeah, yes, yeah, that's fine. If
Yeah.
the parents are fine with that,
We'll do a sign off on that.
okay.
So that's the plan for the schedule.
All right, do you guys have any questions about the students heading down to Connecticut?
What song are you going to sing?
That's the good question, right?
Tonight, you mean?
Yeah, sure. Tonight or during the performance.
So they're going to sing, how many, 5, 6? 4. No, at least 5. There's at least 5. Do you want to talk a little bit about the songs? You've been doing the songs. She's been practicing really hard. So
There's 5 songs in total, and 4 of them are a different language, like Latin or what's the language?
yeah, so Latin is the Laudate Pueri, and then
Yes, and it's so difficult because it's a different language that not a lot of people speak, and it's like a college level. Like, it's really hard, and I've been practicing nonstop.
I bet.
It's crazy. But I'm very excited for this opportunity. So yeah.
yeah.
So question, so will the two of you be singing together? Separate?
No, we're gonna be singing the same songs, but we have different voice parts because we have 2 different ranges.
And then,
Well, kind of, right?
So Monica is technically a female voice. However, she got chosen to sing the highest male voice.
Oh, wow.
Because we're doing, there's all these, 25 years ago this didn't happen, but nowadays we have, everybody is welcome to any voice part.
Yep.
And so Monica's singing tenor, JJ is also singing tenor, which is the highest male voice part. So it's really interesting because her range goes up to soprano, but she's gonna just sing with tenor with JJ. Yeah, but it's a 250 voice chorus, and I'm just so excited for you guys to represent.
I am extremely proud of you. Well done. Congratulations. What an honor. Well, I want to hear him sing.
I just have two more questions, I promise. My wife always says I ask way too many questions. So when you go down, when you get down to Middletown, you'll be practicing with the entire chorus for the first time. And then you're singing with, being accompanied by an orchestra or a band?
There's going to be a pit orchestra, I think, for one of the songs.
Okay.
It said in the email, yeah.
Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Yes.
Which we should sing some of that tonight, because that is a gorgeous piece. But some of them are a cappella, I think. Ooh. So it'll be...
Yeah, the clap song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The great thing about it is that there's songs that represent so many different genres. So like if any of you want to come to the concert, by all means, you'll love it. It's so cool, and there's going to be soloists. I think Monica's going to audition for a solo, so we're going to cross our fingers on that.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So. Well, do you want to start off doing like a warm-up, and then we can have Monica do a solo piece, and then we'll all do maybe bridge a little bit? Sure. Yeah?
I love it, yes.
Cool.
Yeah, okay.
All right, cool. Let's
I'm along for the ride today.
let's set up a little bit. And again, we don't want to, if we're taking too long, just tell us.
I want to hear their voices. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Is this the first time Fitchburg High has done this?
New England Music Festival, there might be a record of Fitchburg High doing it in the 1960s.
Oh, wow.
But that,
And this is something you brought back too, I think, right? With
just
your
because I was
position.
heavily involved with it in other school districts, so I just wanted to get the kids.
No, I love it. Thank you.
Again, yeah. Yeah, so what we'll do, I'll set up the piano kind of like this, and then you can sing into the mic. Okay. So let's play them first. No, let's all warm up together first. Maybe help? Yeah. Like right here. All right, perfect.
How about the stand? Thank you for your patience.
No, it's okay.
No problem. Take your time.
Well worth the wait.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you may learn when you get down there, you may know that you're singing a solo. Wow. That's...
Yeah.
Well, good luck. Good luck to
That's
all of you.
awesome.
Yeah.
I hope you do.
Okay, so we'll do some warm-ups. Everybody want to kind of go around the podium a little bit? Sure. All right.
Oh, we love this. This is so scary.
All right, let's breathe in for 4 and out for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do one in for 4, out for 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just remember, breathe. Okay. Oh my God. The warm-ups are very silly. Let's do. Zia. Yeah, this is from Miss G's piano stash. And
It's gonna die in like
it's gonna die again. So why don't we just get to the music?
And that was a song.
Here all night.
We were very silly. Okay, so we can.
Can you see it?
I can, but you're gonna have to flip the pages.
That's so hard.
Wait, why don't we do this?
Okay. Yeah.
Your starting note is.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've numberless days to sing God's praise. Praise then when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
Wow.
Okay. So next, what do you guys think? Do you want to do like some music or do what? I don't. I was looking for it on my computer right before I got here and I couldn't find it. I was planning on, yeah.
Bridge over trouble.
Bridge over trouble. Let's do it. Okay. You don't know the song. Good. It's fine. We got it.
So we got one more song?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
And this is everyone now, or? Okay, wonderful.
Okay, so again, if the piano conks out, we'll figure it out. Okay.
Do you want to be by your other side to press the button?
No, it's okay.
You're good.
You gotta be with the group. Okay. So, starting notes. I'll sing out.
I'll be your bridge, your troubled water. When you're down, I will carry you like a bridge, your troubled water. I will lay me down. When you're weary when you're on the street, my Lord. When evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh! Yay!
Check the batteries, right?
That's okay.
In a rush.
It's okay. Anyway.
But I'm going to give you a round of applause, 'cause I thought it was
Is that Paul Simon?
Yes.
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 He's going to be at the Bach Center in June. Came out of retirement.
Oh, they always come out of retirement.
He's 83.
He's a kid. He's a kid.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You guys.
Great job, guys. Thank you so much.
No.
I don't think so. Thank you. Yep.
No, I think we had a suggestion to move to take this out of order.
Yes.
We'll get your
I'll make that
approval.
motion that 25-478 that we take out of order.
Second?
Motion and second to take 25-478 out of order. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. For 25-478, to approve the superintendent's recommendation to allow the out-of-state field trip to Middletown High School, Connecticut, for our high school students to participate in the New England Music Festival. That is before us.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion and second to approve 25-478. Any questions or comments on the motion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimously approved.
Good luck. You know, I'm going to expect you to come back here. Oh, wait, it's on the 3rd. Can you come back on March 17th and let us know how you did? All right, because we have school committee the 17th. It's St. Patrick's Day, but you can come.
Wear your green.
We agree. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on with my report, we're continuing our series of directors coming to present the work that they're doing in their programs. This evening, I'm happy to welcome Mrs. Lauren Mountain to the podium. She is our new 21st Century Director. We had an opening and we hired Lauren in October of this year, correct, Lauren?
On the 21st.
On the 21st, look at that. And Lauren is a friend of Fitchburg Public Schools. If you don't know, Lauren's worked with us now for several years in the capacity of United Way Youth Venture. And she ran that program for several years and got our students really engaged in the work of the passion projects that they've been doing throughout the district for years. We are so lucky now to have her on our team as our 21st Century Director. So welcome, Lauren.
Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you. She has a presentation to share with us to give everyone an update on our programming.
Yes.
So take it away, Lauren.
All right, thank you.
Oh, and my apologies. We ran out of central office and I left these on the copy machine. I apologize. I will email this to you tonight and get a hard copy to you.
Okay.
Okay, so you can advance the next slide. And thank you for the introduction. I appreciate that very much. And so far, so good. I'm loving being part of Fitchburg Public Schools. It's been a dream. It's been wonderful. So thank you.
Of course you are.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of our after-school programs, which include the 21st Century after-school programs. A little bit about how the programs align to the instructional vision for the district, some details about the programs, and then some next steps and invitations for you, school committee members. You can go to the next slide, please. So on this slide, what I want to talk about is what does success look like for us? And this kind of combines what I bring to the table with my passion, my experience working with Fitchburg Public Schools over the previous 11 years. What we're trying to do in the after-school and out-of-school settings, which includes summer programming, is to really create interactions with students that are transformational, not transactional. We are looking for those students to have experiences that they wouldn't otherwise have if not for in the after-school or out-of-school programs. So that's kind of a litmus test for us. Like, what makes this special? We're looking to help them feel a sense of belonging. You know, there's a certain swagger that students develop from being in the school building after hours when there's no other students there. They really start to develop, like, this is my place. I'm comfortable here. And they also develop that confidence with the relationships they build with the other adults and their fellow peers. So really it's about building confidence as learners and understanding more about themselves, understanding how to build relationships. And the exciting fun part is exploring skills and passions that they maybe didn't realize they had. So there's a lot of flexibility for experimental fun and play in the after-school setting. So for this to be successful, it really means that it has to be anchored in adults with a mindset that they're willing to let go a little bit, let youth be in charge a little bit more, to experiment with project-based learning, to allow students space to come to the table to plan and come up with some ideas and activities that they're really excited about. So that's kind of like the overall thrust of, if you could imagine, the environment that we're trying to create in the after-school programs. We are funded by DESE for our 21st century programs, but also through Title I and some local funds, as well as other smattering of grants here and there to make sure that there's enough funding for the programming. But those grants require us to have certain academic enrichment standards. So each one of our sites focuses either on ELA or math. So for ELA, the focus is on writing. And for math, the focus is on problem solving. In addition to that, and this is where it gets exciting, is it focuses on engagement and learning. And if you haven't heard the terminology from DESE before, it's capital D, capital L, deeper learning. What deeper learning is an opportunity for young people to experience real-world learning. It's a chance for them to explore their individuality, their creativity, and their identity and mastery over a topic. So to give you an example, if we're doing an after-school activity that involves STEM experiments, right, that's not enough. We're looking for them to have some sort of ownership over that, so when they leave after having been part of that activity, they walk out of there saying, not I tried a science experiment, but I was a scientist today. They can see themselves in that role potentially in the future. They're thinking about what that might mean for them tomorrow or in the future, and there's some thinking about how that's applicable to them, and maybe they're curious to learn more. That's ultimately what we're trying to do with as many experiences as possible, and as you can imagine, that's a tall order. And it puts a lot on the staff to think about things in a very different and engaging way. Sometimes that also looks like project-based learning, and again, that goes to the relinquishing control aspects. I'm going to skip ahead to the bottom there where it talks about progress monitoring, because we want to make sure that we are not just trying to be successful, but we are successful. How do we know? One of the ways that we measure that is through surveys that we administer through DESE called the SEO. We ask students to give us pre and post information about what they're able to do, their confidence level in certain things, what their skill level is at. And we also ask teachers to score them on the same areas, and we ask the staff to score them on those same areas. Depending on the site, it might be also on their academic improvement in ELA or math. We're looking at their attendance and all these other things. We typically expect to see anywhere from 10 to 15% improvement from beginning of the program to the end. And we're definitely following attendance. DESE wants to make sure that each student has a certain amount of dosage in order to find that success. We are definitely focused on the whole child and SEL. So in addition to those academic measures, we're also looking for how are they developing relationships with peers, with adults, and we do that through a fairly low student to adult ratio. At the highest level, it's 12 adults to 1 student, although more typically it's 6 to 1. And that's to ensure that students can develop those relationships, and at the end of a long day, they're getting the supports they need for their varied learning needs. And we also have wonderful partnerships with nutrition services, and we make sure that students have snacks and dinner every day. We provide transportation for them, and then there's plenty of time for physical activity that's built into the program. And so a lot of this, as I mentioned before, has to do with the staff being equipped to think and respond and do this kind of thing. So we also focus on providing professional development that is going to inspire the teachers to think and pair differently with students. And as we go along, there's pictures I've got up here. So the picture on the top right is some students at Longjo. They are at the official measuring table for a STEM activity. They had made catapults, and so they're trying to beat their time there, or their distance. And then the bottom, we have a second grader at Crocker who is using her real-life skills of marketing for a fundraiser. So she is trying to entice a fellow student to come buy some wildlife supplies at their sale, which was successful. They made almost $700 in 4 days. Wow. So quite powerhouse.
Lauren, one of the things, and I think you mentioned it, is the kids really are the ones that drive the programming that's offered, right, through their surveys that they take. That's that information that we use to develop our programming, which is really important.
Yes, for sure. So it's a lot of it is also based on the passions of adults, and more we're really trying to drive towards those passions coming directly from students. So I didn't include the pictures in here, but all of our sites have been doing their own techniques of getting feedback directly from students about what they would like the future sessions to look like. And in fact, we had a student last week who came into central office and presented an idea about a, what is it called? A super show and tell activity that the whole activity is mapped out for 10 weeks. The student is just looking for the right adult to come in and lead it so that students can do their show and tell, but then each student goes deeper on a given day to share their passion and create an activity that they are leading for fellow elementary students.
That's great.
Pretty cool.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah. You can go to the next slide. All right. So the programs here, these are structured programs. So there's more than just 21st century and after school programs, but what I'm talking about is the programs that are really structured. And, you know, they have a beginning and end. You sign up and you enroll. You have the transportation and the nutrition services. We have nursing staff. They're free to Fitchburg Public School students. The way we operate the after-school programs is in 3 10-week sessions. They began on September 30th, and they will continue through the middle of June. And we have 1 week in between where there's time for the staff to recalibrate, plan, and get some professional development. Across the 6 sites, we have 331 students enrolled. You can see the breakdown there. We have a repeat this year at South Street Early Learning Center with kindergarten students. We have 30 students on a Monday, Wednesday schedule, and another 30 some odd students on a Tuesday, Thursday schedule. And boy, were they busy today.
Yes, those kindergartens are busy every day.
Very energized, but particularly today.
The baby sharks.
Yes, you love that.
Crocker and South Street are funded by Title I and Fitchburg funds. So Crocker was not awarded a 21st Century grant last year. We don't know if Crocker will be able to pursue that grant this year. You know, there's some funding changes on the horizon, possibly not. But if we have the opportunity to apply for funding for that, we will go after it.
Yeah, and that's important. You know, federal funds, you've heard a lot of talk around that.
Oh, we have?
Yeah, a little bit, right? And at this point, for next year, I think our programming is federally funded. It's going to be
It
okay.
is. Yeah, we're confident that
Confident we'll be okay for
For the
next
next
year.
school year?
For the next school year, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so then those other sites, McKay, Rheingold, Longshore Memorial. McKay will be entering year 5 of its grant next year. And each year the grant gets a little smaller because we're supposed to be taking on more of that financial responsibility ourselves. So that's where the other grant seeking comes in on my behalf. Yep.
If you're going to get to it, how do you select your students?
Oh, sure.
So if you're going to talk about that later,
No, I can go into it now. So I'll give you an example with McKay. We had, within a week and a half, 170 kids sign up for 40 spots. Okay, so that's a painful fact, right? So why can't we take them all? It's limited, obviously, by budget, but it's actually also limited by the number of staff that we can actually get to come on site who want to stay after. And actually, that's going to be a call to action for some of you here to see if you could maybe help us to encourage and recruit people even from our community to come in and be part of this. But the way they sign up, it's not as simple as first come, first serve. No. So the goal is to have the population that's represented after school be representative of the school day with a slightly higher population of IEP 504 students, to the tune of 5 to 10% higher than what we see during the school day. So DESE asked us to prioritize students with those special needs. We do that, but obviously we need to make sure we have enough staffing to support them and make sure they're successful. But it's kind of like get in there quick.
Yeah.
And if you've been in the program before, if you have a sibling, obviously we're going to try to match up siblings so they can have it together. But yeah, we do maintain a waiting list, and when spots open, we call families right in. We also have a referral system that we're building up with other after-school programs. For example, Mr. Roach and I went to the Boys and Girls Club last week and had an awesome tour of the Boys and Girls Club, and they can accept right now 30 students at the elementary school level. And then there's some wonderful programs there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right, so I talked a lot about those middle and elementary schools. What about high school? Well, the structured programs I was just talking about there are, it's not really, I didn't mention that there's an array of different extracurricular activities, sports, et cetera, at the high school level, as well as the other middle schools and elementary. They all have their own programs. And so where possible, gradually, we're trying to see where we can find complementary programming resources. So for example, after-school clubs oftentimes don't have transportation that corresponds. At the high school level, that's usually not a problem. They can hop on the MART. At the younger grades, that could be a game changer for them. Also, they may or may not have access to snacks. That's something we can work with nutrition services and help them understand how to set up access to those resources. So we're trying to do that. One example is an intramural after-school sports program at Rheingold that's going to be up and running soon and will be running complementary with the 21st Century After-School program. So that's going to be really cool as well. Another example would be the Youth Venture program, which I think a lot of you are probably familiar with. That operates every Wednesday after school at Fitchburg High School. It operates at all the sites, basically all the different schools have a Youth Venture program that operates. And then where we can intersect with scheduling, we try to do that so students have access with transportation. So for the high school side, what we really focus on with 21st Century is a 21st Century internship grant that we were awarded last year. We had 10 interns over the summer, and we've had 4 full-time positions, 4-day-a-week intern positions. We are looking to continue that, and we expect that that grant will become available probably within the next month or two. And hopefully will yield another 10 to 15 interns. The goal of that program is for those interns to be placed in our after-school sites working with younger students. So they would either be almost like a paraprofessional type role, or more ideally, after they've gone through session 1, they get their feet wet. Session 2, they start to partner more closely with the instructor. Session 3, they're confident and they can even run their own session with light adult supervision. So they're getting a taste of what it feels like to be in charge, and they're developing their leadership skills. And then we've got some other exciting opportunities that are pending. We probably won't find out about these things until right on the cusp of when things are happening. But a program we've had for many years in the past is the YouthWorks with MassHire. And we've put in a request through them to see if we can get 15 to 25 slots where they will pay Fitchburg students for internship positions, and we can place them in working positions throughout the district. Another grant opportunity that we have already applied for, I think you guys had it on a previous agenda, was a DESE grant for youth participatory action research. We requested $75,000. And that grant will give us the structure to basically build out Youth Venture and pay for champions or advisors, allies or individual teachers to coach student teams, and students to run their ventures or their youth action projects and get paid as a job to do that work. So for example, the Curly Hair Care Club at Fitchburg High School, I've been talking to them. They are so excited about going into schools and delivering their workshops and things like that, but many of them also are helping to support their families. So if you've got to choose, get the job or do this thing you're really passionate about, this makes it possible that they don't have to have that choice. They could do both in the one.
So we got that grant?
We applied for it.
It's pending.
But we look really good?
I think we look really good, yeah. And then the second bullet there is United Way. There's actually 4 potential United Way grants that
I love the United Way Youth Venture.
Yes, so there's a Youth Venture 2.0, there's an after-school programming grant that we've received funding for in the past, there's one for youth mental and behavioral health, and then there's one for early childhood, all fit together. All right, next slide. And I'm going to go a little bit quicker in here. I haven't been explaining the pictures, but hopefully you get kind of a little gist. There's lots of cute stuff happening. Program highlights. So McKay and Rheingold, we received one additional grant so far this year to support our students with IEPs. We were struggling a little bit there for a bit just because we had such a high percentage of students with IEPs. So this helps to lighten the load a little bit by giving us more paraprofessional support, adjustment counselor support at those two sites. At Rheingold, which is an exemplary site, we've been doing great there for so many years. They named us an exemplary site. We have been going through a cohort to model a pilot for project-based learning. And the picture on the top right is actually our students performing Charlotte's Web in front of an audience of 250 DESE folks in Devens in December. So we were selected one of three schools to go and do that performance, and they were awesome. They had, the whole audience was just wrapped with attention on them. They were incredible. That same group right now at Rheingold is now preparing a performance of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So that'll be coming up.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Longjo Memorial, we had 2 successful visits from DESE, so those are great milestones that are in the books. And our South Street program opened on January 27th. We will have 2 7-week sessions for them. All right, next slide. I want to highlight some of our unique community partnerships because I talked to you before about what are some things that are really important when we're deciding what to do. What can they not get elsewhere? Okay, so a lot of these things we wouldn't be able to have if not for unique partnerships. And so if you guys ever have any resources, any ideas, suggestions, aha moments, please let me know because we'll dig into it. One of them is the 84 movement. This is part of the Department of Public Health. They raise awareness about youth, racial, social justice, and the marketing tactics used by the tobacco industry to target certain groups. So they have awarded us $20,000 for students to create a comic book project. Yes.
And that's on there tonight for approval.
Yes, we're going to.
So that's a really cool opportunity that we have there, and we'll do that at Memorial if approved. The Fitchburg Art Museum, we have twice per week field trips with our Longshore students. They basically have VIP access to the museum, regardless of whether the museum is open or closed. It's open for them, and they get to do studio art, and they get to check out the exhibits before anybody else. It's incredible. The Fitchburg Police Department does self-defense classes once a week with the McKay students currently. Next session, we'll have them do a different elementary school. They've worked with the 4th and 5th graders, and they literally, I don't know if you've seen what they do, but the police officer, and he gets all suited up, and they go and they kick and beat the heck out of them. It's wonderful.
Self-defense.
Yes, self-defense, yes. We have a partner from Worcester called Inner Voice Outer Change, and they focus on creating studio music and lyrical expression. We have a special event with them this week. They're actually bringing in a volunteer barber to come and do haircuts for the students as part of building self-confidence and self-care as part of their self-expression. So that will be fun. And then Mass Audubon Society is going to be partnering with us again. There's some pictures there of the students out on the trail walks, and we'll get them back out and about at least 4 or 5 times. They'll be going out on trail walks in the spring at Memorial. The next slide. I'm just going to skip ahead because I'm so excited about it. The picture on the bottom. I don't know if you could see her face. Look at how excited she is. So that's Ari, and she is obsessed with Great Wolf Lodge. She's obsessed with swimming. And when we were doing a youth venture exercise, she kept talking about how her passion, her skill that she loves more than anything is swimming. It was like, could we do something to get swimming? And a couple conversations later with the YMCA, and we have weekly swimming lessons for Crocker students currently, and weekly swimming lessons for Longshore students. And the thing that's awesome about this is the lessons for Longjo they're multilingual. We have students who are just learning English, and we have a student who is able to receive her lessons in her native language, Portuguese. So it is just...
You could just walk right there.
They walk,
YMCA, right across the street.
They walk right there, and it's one of those things you're just like, trying not to cry watching because there's just so much joy going on. We have, with luck, a peer mediation group that comes in and works with students at McKay. And then Youth Venture, the font is small, but there's a lot happening. So McKay, students are planning a pet adoption event. Although they are struggling to find an agency that can bring pets in, but they've been working on this for a couple months. It's coming up, but we'll see if they get there or not. That's part of the learning process. Crocker is going to be hosting a visit from a very famous Nibby the Beaver, whose fate was decided by the governor of the Commonwealth last year.
Oh, that's the famous beaver?
That is the famous beaver, who is going to be coming to receive the donation of $700 that the Crocker kids raised in the fall. They wanted to help wildlife.
When is that happening?
It's March 6th.
Second?
6th.
6th.
Yes.
Hold on, it's on my calendar.
What time?
It's going to be like 4 o'clock, I think. 3:45, 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Is this the $700 that earlier slide you showed us, the little
Yes.
girls doing your pitch?
Yes,
Okay.
and they had line wrapped around the cafeteria for 4 consecutive mornings, and they made $700 selling wildlife-themed school supplies. Yeah. So, and then Memorial in December, they hosted a student-teacher basketball game. Oh, that building was buzzing. So the funds that they raised from the Ballers. The funds that they raised from that are going to pay for new basketball hoops to be installed. So they've been working on this for about a year. Long Show, we're going to be getting a program up and running with Youth Venture next session. The same teacher that's running the the comic book project is going to be leading that Long Show. And at Fitchburg High, I think you guys were talking about the Youth Commission.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So Diego Bajarona, he is one of the students who's in the Youth Venture program. He does he's with Gwari Bono Nakan. We've got student ambassadors. We've got Roots and Benches Venture Team, Curly Hair Care Club. There's lots of wonderful activity that continues to happen at Fitchburg High, and they're just powerhouses.
I've had 3 mayoral interns so far, all working on Youth Commission. Right now, I got Fitchburg
that's
State
awesome.
University intern. We're there.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. You can go to the next slide. So a couple other things that are internal skills and talents we have for our students. I don't know if you guys know it, we have a really awesome professional level fencing course that is available to students 2 days a week at Long Show.
Oh, it's at Long Show. It's awesome.
It is awesome. Yes. Mr. Washburn trained at the Higgins Armory, and he takes this very seriously. He knows all the things. And there's, we can't really tell.
Is it all mapped out in the foyer?
Yep. He's got all the
little
the
boxes?
squares in there,
Oh, yeah.
and it's amazing to watch, especially because there's 2 siblings who go at it. And they're big anime fans, so this is like, they're living the dream doing this. Also, along the show, we have multicultural master chef. So each week they learn about a different culture and their foods. Last week it was the evolution of Puerto Rican food, and I left at the wrong time and missed out on the guacamole and chips. But the next time I was there on Wednesday, they deep fried some beef empanadas, and they were epic, very delicious. So, and they're keeping a recipe book of that. At Memorial, we have the Science of Harry Potter, and they're trying out different Harry Potter-inspired science experiments every week. Also at Memorial is the Library Sciences Group, which is amazing. The students are basically running the library, and they're coming up with, they've created like sensory stations, coloring stations. They have like little scavenger hunts. They ran the school store. They had security. One student put on like shopping music. He had a shopping playlist going so that students would, they do merchandising. They have so much freedom of expression in that role. It's just really, really awesome to see them go. And at McKay, this group in the bottom, they're doing their freestyle dance presentation at the showcase from session 1. We're doing a repeat of that at McKay. So those are just a couple highlights of unique site offerings. So next steps. Would love if any of you want to come by and visit and get a sense of this yourself. It's really fun. There's sometimes free food involved, sometimes random beavers running around, I don't know. There's always interesting things to see. But seriously, though, we do need to do ongoing site observations, and we're focused on continual improvement. And we want this to be about the community and students and stakeholder engagement. So to have an outside perspective, to have you come and join us and be part of those observations and give feedback would be very, very welcomed. We have each session at the conclusion family engagement showcases. So those will be taking place between March 10th and 20th. At various sites, they'll be showcasing, you know, here's our play, or here's this product we made, here's what we learned. And families are invited to come in and see what happened with their students. And then we are about to be planning and staffing for session 3. We've got some staff who are leaving us for personal reasons, et cetera, so we are hiring. As I mentioned before, that's not always an easy task. So if you know folks who have that mindset that I indicated we're looking for, who have a little energy left in them at the end of the day, who are willing to let go of the reins a little bit and have fun, please send them my way. We're looking for instructors, paras, et cetera. And let's see. Summer programming is going to be happening from July 7th to the 31st. It's a Monday to Thursday schedule, as we've had in recent years. From 8 to 2, it's going to be at Fitchburg High School, and we will begin hiring and planning that in earnest very soon. Again, we also want a lot of community input on what that looks like. And then the big question about the grants and continued funding. We will be eligible for continuation funding for the 4 sites that were indicated at the earlier slide, McKay, Rheingold, Longjo, and Memorial. There will be a slight deduction in each of those, as there is every year. I think it goes down by about 10%. So we'll be looking to shore up that gap with other complementary grants, such as some of those United Way grants I mentioned, or some other things that pop up here and there. So we'll continue to look for those things. And if there is an opportunity to apply for new funding for Crocker, we will definitely go for it. Any questions?
Thank you, Lauren. Well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would love to be invited to the fun things.
There's a lot of fun things.
Send me an email.
Okay.
I don't have a question, but I just want to respond to what I saw. It's unbelievable creativity, innovation, adults helping the younger people. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
I want to go to everything, but that's not possible.
You got to start somewhere. So come at least to one thing. Yes.
I just want to comment that we've got the right person for the job.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I was fortunate enough to work with you a little bit when I was working with the after-school program at Crocker, and I missed that terribly.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice to see the kids in a different light, and the kids to see the teachers in a different light as well. But you're doing amazing work. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. And so I'm up here presenting. Behind me are 100+ staff at all the sites, and we have site coordinators at all those. So this is not something I can take credit for. It's just something I get to brag about today. So thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. I don't know if that can evolve into a possible suggestion, but what is the top age for like the summer program or?
So it will be rising grades. I think
11.
we said kindergarten, right?
Oh, do you mean for interns or students participating in the program?
Well, starting with students participating.
Yep.
Yeah, so the elementary program, like the after-school program, is for grades 1 through 5. So it would be rising grades 1 through 5. But I think we're talking about, so we have the kindergarten program. So we're trying to figure out how that fits in. And then the middle school is rising grades 6 through 9.
Okay.
So they get an extra year in there.
So when those who are aging out of middle school going into high school, is there opportunities for them to kind of do like an internship or somehow help throughout the summer program?
That is something that we're working on right now, where it's limited to 16+, but we're working to make sure that students who are in the younger grades are paired up with an activity that is a good match for their age and experience.
Okay.
Great.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. I just didn't know if
there's
there was-
always volunteer opportunities too.
Yep.
That's an option as well.
I guess that would be that kind of complementary connection that we make with the other organizations that offer teen after-school or summer programs, right? When, when you're in the 8th grade going into the 9th, that's your last year of the after-school or the summer program for Fitchburg Public Schools.
And I'll give another quick little plug for the Boys and Girls Club. It costs $30 a month to become a member, but they've got really competitive robotics competition teams. They've got teen hangout, middle school hangout, like the resources over there are phenomenal. At the high school level, if you are chosen as student of the year, which there's not a lot of high school students over there, you get a 4-year tuition to Fitchburg State.
Ooh.
Wow.
So the odds are in your favor.
I was only asking because I was thinking about the kids that are, have every year been involved and they've had things keeping them busy throughout the summers or even after school. And then once they are aging out of that and now they're kind of becoming more high school aged, what are they doing with their time filling up this now a void of free time?
Yeah.
To be constructive. I was just trying to think of
my
ways to get them involved.
My personal goal is to just keep on building up those internship opportunities because there's so many things that could be done. I think we need to start off with like in-house, like things that are in the summer program, or even talk to Mary Alexander about having a couple interns at central office this summer. Make sure that the quality of the programming is there, and then continue to expand the numbers and offer more employment for young people.
Yeah.
And I'll just add also, at the high school level, sports also starts, and there's a lot of sports activities during the summer for students who are engaged in sports, and then also our students who are engaged in the arts. There's also a lot of, a lot of what you saw today happening during the summertime, and then for our students who, want to continue to further their credit, if they have had some credit that they need to recover, we have credit recovery programs for our high school students in the summer. So there is programming for the high school. It just doesn't necessarily look exactly the same as the other grade levels.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily looking from a learning perspective, but a way for them to give back too, to help with the younger kids.
I think that's great.
Thank you
Well, thank
so
you,
much.
Lauren.
Thank you.
See, you were nervous, and you didn't have to be.
It was,
It's your first time, Lauren.
hey, I asked, you said no.
Well done. Thank you. All right, moving on to the next item, our elementary enrollment. So, as you know, we have, the fun, saving the best for last, right? As you know, we are in the midst of finishing up our new Crocker building. It's exciting. But we are now at that time for our members who have been here several years where we now need to look at our enrollment at all our elementary schools because our new Crocker can hold more students. And we need to look at the programming that's happening at all our elementary schools to make sure we are looking at our numbers, our class sizes, our teachers, our staffing, and how do we equally distribute that throughout the 3 schools that we have in Fitchburg. So that being said, tonight we have Nick Packard, our Director of Enrollment, and Donna Hildreth, our Director of Transportation, here to talk to us about enrollment for next year and some shifts we need to make because Crocker is opening, and it's that time that we said that we would go back and revisit our enrollment and our district lines for where our elementary students go to. So tonight, we're going to share with you the work that Nick and Donna have been doing to look at it. So we are meeting the needs of our students and also thinking about how do we make it equal and equitable across the district. So Donna and Nick, you want to come on up and we can walk through the presentation with them. Okay, great. And I think that was in your packet.
Was it in the?
Thank you, Don.
It was, yeah.
And those mics work too if you want to just sit
Yeah,
at
so
the table.
come right up. You can sit at the table. And we're going to go through where we're at this point. and answer any questions you may have, because this will probably be a topic where you will get some phone calls from some of our parents.
Our
and
kids
family
going to have
members.
to switch?
Yeah, so tonight, what we're going to talk to you about is we're trying to do this in the least disruptive process for all families. That being said, we think we figured that out with starting with our kindergarten, because as you know, our kindergarten is all in one school now at South Street, and those students will then leave South Street and go to 3 different schools. So we think we have solved the problem, looking at adjusting our lines and starting with our new kindergarten class going into 1st grade. So let's say you left South Street and you're going to Rheingold. That may look different. Next year, you may go to a different school. So that being said, we're going to walk you through that. The other thing that will come up is, what do we do with siblings that are already at maybe a school? Maybe you're going to be shipped to Crocker as a kindergartner, but you have a 4th grade sibling that's at Rheingold. What do we do in that instance? So we're going to talk about that tonight, so you're aware of how we're going to move forward and handle that. Okay? All right, are we ready?
Yes.
All right.
All right, so you have our presentation in front of you. The information is very short and sweet in the packet, but there's a lot of information to really unpack from this. As John said, we really started, we wanted to really start looking at our kindergarten class, ideally with the intention of maybe just moving kindergarten students up. And phasing it out over the next few years to shift our boundaries little by little. Because in certain areas of the city, we are able to accommodate like bus routes in for 2 different schools. So, you know, in some cases we were able to do that. Upon digging into it, we noticed a big section of the city that has a lot of kindergartners. And if those kindergarten students were to stay at their current school based on our current boundaries, we would have extremely high class sizes at one school, and we just felt for equity purposes we needed to really start looking at maybe just starting with that area alone and shifting that for all students, not just kindergarten, because with that shift it would also mean moving a bus from one school to another. So on the next slide we have 2 separate views, and we'll blow them up a little bit in the next couple slides. 2 separate views of the same section of the city. And this is by the Ashburnham Road, River Street area. In this area alone, if you want to switch to the next view to blow it up a little bit more, in this area alone, we have 24 kindergartners. And this is like the highest number of kindergarten students we've had in that area in several years, since basically the reorganization of the district a few years ago. So go ahead and shift.
It's the kindergarten hotspot.
It was the
How many
kindergarten
kindergartners did you say?
There were 24 kindergartners just in that one area. And this year, our kindergarten class is one of the largest that we've had in several years. It's definitely a bubble year. So we have to be really strategic about how we're breaking those students up into the 3 elementary schools.
5 years ago.
Yeah, what was that? Exactly. Yes. So, funny enough, next year is the COVID baby boom year that we're expecting. So we might be seeing another year of this come next year. A
few years, I think.
This was very surprising.
This was very surprising just for this area, because we actually saw a much smaller shift towards movement in and out of like our inner city apartment buildings like we normally do, and there was a lot of movement this year in our single family homes. So this was very shocking for us. Like there were a lot of homes where people have lived for 20, 30 years, they're now moving, and new families are coming into the district. So, and this was one of those big hot spots for that.
The Early Learning Center, it's in its, is it 2nd or 3rd year?
This is the third year.
So are you able to determine from students who are in pre-K if they continue in kindergarten? Does that give you a sense of the areas where a lot of the students will be as they progress forward?
Not really, because we have a lot of movement in the city, just a lot in general. I mean, with people immigrating from different areas, that's a big hot topic right now. We're seeing a big climb in those numbers, just people coming to the city for sanctuary or for, just for, trying to live with family or relatives because they can't afford housing on their own in some of like the suburban areas. Go ahead and skip.
So is this area the Rheingold area, I presume?
So this is currently the Rheingold area. I think there might be. Yeah, so we have a whole street listing in a couple slides.
Keep going.
Skip to that. Yeah, go ahead.
The next pictures, I think, is a little bit.
So those little flags are the schools.
Right. So each different map shows the area in different views. So we wanted to provide both because this one definitely is a little bit clearer with like the street boundaries and whatnot. And then the following slide, if you want to look now, has the list of all the streets that are affected by this proposed change.
What's the proposed change?
The proposed change would be to shift all of these streets from the current Rheingold area to the new Crocker building.
Okay.
When that opens.
And so it's
an entire neighborhood.
It's an entire neighborhood.
just in the blue?
Just, yeah.
It goes from River Street up Ashburnham, all the way up to Coswell, down Ashburnham Hill Road, Ashby West. It's that whole area. That's what in that area is the 24 kindergartners that gave us the explosion. It's like, wow.
That makes a lot of sense.
Well, and then you have the numbers now showing
So
that
the
this is why we
numbers-
have to do this.
Right, the numbers, yeah, we'll start digging into numbers a little bit more. Again, we really tried to just focus on moving kindergartners, with the idea of keeping kindergartners that have siblings in existing schools with their siblings and just moving kindergartners as we needed to and, shifting some bus routes as needed. But with this 24 student count, we wouldn't be able to do that. We can't accommodate two buses alone in that area as it is. So we would have had to shift one way or the other. And so
You can't accommodate the number of kindergarten students in that area and the rest of the Rheingold area to
Right.
attend Rheingold.
Right, and I'll show you
And
those
let me
numbers
get
in a
that
second.
number, yeah.
We did a comparison of what it would look like if we made no changes to the proposed changes, but, so in planning for this, these are the numbers of students that would be affected by this change. This does include students that are currently attending Rheingold Elementary. There might be one or two McKay students in there as well. So we're planning to start making phone calls like literally tomorrow morning to discuss this with each family that would be affected by this and discuss, options that they have and really try and sell the new Crocker School as, it's a beautiful building. There's no reason why nobody would want to go there. So we're really hoping that they can see that. Nobody wants to move their kid, especially for these, the current grade level is grade 4 students going to grade 5. Nobody wants to have to shift their kid at that point. And we do have a plan for that. If parents are able to accommodate transportation, we will discuss that with them and see if they're able to make that accommodation to stay
I
at
like
Rheingold.
that on an individual basis.
And that's, we talked about that, and
it works
that's
for
why
some
we're going to
people
call
and
and
not for
have,
others.
Nick's team's going to start making phone calls to have that personal conversation with people, because this is important. We want to make sure we understand if there's certain issues going on with families, we can actually understand what's going on. I didn't think it was appropriate just to receive a letter in the mail.
No.
So that's why I asked Nick to reach out to them by phone.
Right. Yeah.
So for the students who live on the streets that are affected,
Yeah.
normally would have gone to Rheingold, will now be going to Crocker.
Yep.
That change, does it affect the amount of time that they would be on a bus, or what time they'd have to get on the bus, as opposed to being on a bus that would go to Rheingold? Same amount of time?
It's basically one bus.
One bus, okay.
And that route is about a 45-minute route, just to go around that neighborhood.
Right. It's a
So-
long area. You're out in the woods in some
It
parts.
makes no difference if
Either
they
go
go to
this way
Crocker
or that
if
way.
they go to Rheingold.
Right.
So
Majority of the time is going up those back hills.
Yeah.
the hard part is we can only accommodate one bus, one school.
Right.
And the other thing too, and this is where we're going to see, I think, the most resistance for this change from some families, is that if any of the kindergartners moving up do have siblings, the sibling would potentially have the opportunity to stay at Rheingold if the parent can provide transportation. But due to numbers, and again, we'll look at numbers in the next slide, with that kindergarten group, it's so large, we cannot accommodate those seats at Rheingold. There's just no space in that building for it. So that's going to have to be the contention that we'll be facing with some families is like, okay, yeah, you've got a third grader up there now with an incoming kindergartner going up there, but if you want your third grader to stay at Rheingold, your kindergarten to grade 1 student is going to have to go to Crocker. There is no, we cannot make an
No, I've
accommodation
got
for
to
that.
go to the brand-new $77 million.
Right. So, hopefully. So hopefully, there's, out of the 24, what do we say, there's 10 that have siblings, 8 or 10 that have siblings.
10 families.
So those are the ones that we're going to focus on the most. The rest of them, like I said, if they're not involved in that whole sibling trade-off, if they want to stay at Rheingold, if they have reliable transportation and can get there, great. One of the things that we are going to discuss with families, though, is just making sure, like, if you're the one providing transportation to the school, their attendance has to stay, on par. If their attendance starts slipping, and a lot of it's because of, parent is dropping the kid off late to school every single day, we're going to have that conversation with the family and say, we really should consider moving to Crocker if your child is able to get on a bus and get to school on time. So.
You want to go through the numbers and show them the shifts we made?
Yeah, so the next slide right here, so with no changes to anything that we're proposing today on the left, you'll see for Rheingold Elementary, the student count would be 164 first graders, which with their current numbers would have class sizes upwards of 27, 28 kids. The other schools would be okay at these numbers with their current layouts, but that grade 1 number at Rheingold is just not acceptable in our minds. So with the proposed change of just making that shift, we went even further and thought about, okay, what opportunities do we have to start moving some teachers potentially from lower grade level sizes at the 2 other schools to Crocker to help offset these numbers even more and really focus on lower class sizes.
You really need to get that first grade because then it would be all the way through.
It follows all the way through, exactly. So,
Well, there is a lot of movement.
Yeah.
Right,
But if you
right.
start out with 27 first grade. and if
it's
they
going to stay 27 or it's going to keep climbing. Yeah.
And it happens too, like people will move into that area, and there's no shared space, so that number could go up 28, 29.
Well, and that's the concern. Again, our biggest shift this year was not in our apartment buildings that we typically see movement from. It was in this area where it's all single-family homes. So, we just worry, like, all of a sudden you start seeing for sale signs, people trying to downsize or whatever the case is, and now you're going to have newer families moving in, and that number is going to keep climbing. So
They keep saying west is the best, all right?
yeah, true.
No, that's what they say.
With this proposed change, on the chart on the right, I did highlight some areas in the 2 other schools where we could potentially move teachers from that do have lower class sizes at the moment. For example, McKay's current second grade class, or what would be their second grade class next year, has, it's an 18-to-1 ratio. So, if we did move a teacher over, if we took that from 7 teachers to 6, it would only bring up their numbers to 22 a class, which is not unheard of. It's not, it's feasible. So if we were to move that helps take care of some class sizes at Crocker as well.
So the yellow is the changes you'd be making to students?
Potentially, yeah. So these were the proposed changes. Of course, moving teachers around, that falls more into our lovely superintendent's responsibility. But these are what we're really looking at next year for our numbers, just counting the students moving up a grade. Obviously, there is movement. We're going to see some students leaving, some students coming, so that could vary by,
So we're looking at
4
a
or
couple
5 kids.
dozen families affected.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it's not a big move like we did three years ago.
No, in total, it's 102 students right now on a list that we have. It's about 65 individual families, not counting the kindergartners that don't have siblings that are just going to move up anyway. They'll get their letter like all the other kindergartners do at the end of, like, usually beginning to middle of May, that says here's where your child's going to be going to school next year. They're probably not even going to realize this change even happened unless they watch this meeting. So so that, they won't really notice a difference.
There's 24 kindergarteners. If they don't have siblings, they wouldn't necessarily know.
Right, like, we're not going to call them and say, hey, your neighborhood's changing, because they might not know anyway, like, which school they're going to next year as it is. So, I mean, if they call and ask, we'll talk to them about it, but we're really focusing, again, on those families with kindergartners that have a sibling and the other Rheingold students that would be potentially moving.
One of the things, excuse me, Nick, one of the things I wanted to point out, and, Pete can testify to this, is the Rheingold. Rheingold's currently at, 716 kids?
Right.
And they are bursting at the seams right now, so we have to do some relief. This will almost decrease them a little, less than 100 students. It will go to 716 to 610, which will hopefully relieve them right now because it's very tight over there. This is the proposal for next year. We're going to see how it goes. I may come back to you at next year and say we need to look at moving some more students from Rheingold to the other schools based on space.
Right.
So just so you know, this is the proposal moving forward for next school year, and then we'll see how it goes, and then we'll reassess next year.
This is going to, maybe it'll make a difference where they've had to take the art room away.
That's one of the things.
It's
We have a
going
lot
to
of
be able to
specialists
open
on
up.
Things aren't
parts.
equitable now, where
Correct.
some schools have the art and music room, and,
We have to make this change.
yeah.
Look at 164 students in grade 1 at Rheingold.
Yeah, it was a lot. When we saw that number, I think our hearts stopped for a second or two, because we're like, okay, that's a change. We need to do something about that. And it's funny because, like, the past few years, it's been Crocker that's always been hit the most. Like, all the move-ins are Crocker kids, Crocker kids, Crocker kids. And so we've had to already expand our boundaries to accommodate, potentially 2 schools. We call them our buffer zones. So, if a student moves into one of those buffer zones, depending on numbers, we can say, all right, no, this kid can go to McKay, or, oh, no, they've got lower class sizes at Crocker, we can send them to Crocker. This is going to change the game. It unfortunately will disintegrate that buffer zone. We're not going to have that anymore. So kids that are moving into this area are going to Crocker no matter what. So that's sort of the trade-off. But as we move into future school years, we can look at where we can expand and kind of, to see how numbers are growing.
Which you can. Crocker's going to be amazing.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so,
It is.
I think one of the things we also should mention, too, to make sure we're transparent, is there's 2 sub-separate special ed classes
that
at
too.
McKay. There's 2 of them that we're going to move from McKay and over to Crocker, because that will give McKay a little bit more space, too, because they're also maxed out right now. So that will open up some room at McKay. The great thing is that we have specialized rooms built for these programs now at Crocker, so it will be a nice transition, and they'll be accessing a improved space for those 2 groups.
And I think, too, if we do end up shifting some teachers around, it might open up, like, a classroom space that could be utilized for other things that, like you said, may have been taken away in the past because of our high class sizes.
Fencing.
So,
Fencing, it could be fencing.
I think a plus is that we're going to call the
No,
families.
Our teacher should be
Right.
using a cart and going room to room, and that's why we lose some of our people, specialists.
and yeah, like to echo Donna, the biggest piece of this is that we're giving each family a phone call, and we're going to follow up immediately with an email if we can't get through to them. Whether we get through to them or not, we're following up with an email so that there's something in writing. And we're going to request that all families respond to that email just so that they understand what it is that we're presenting to them. And
if I could get that email too, so if anyone reaches out to me.
Yeah, we can send that to all of you so you
Yeah.
have it, because I'm sure they'll call if they have a concern, so we wanted to make sure you were aware.
Right,
of this.
right,
You'll
absolutely.
be dealing with some of those, I have a babysitter, and,
Yeah, of course. It's going to be a challenge, but again, if they can accommodate keeping their kid at Rheingold, we will support that. So
That's a plus.
that
We have,
is
we
a
have
plus.
that advantage
Right.
to be able to keep the numbers are okay in all those other grades to accommodate those students who want to stay there,
And we'll give
with the exception of first grade.
Right. And we'll give families, a few months to really decide, like if we throw this in their lap now and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do, or they're arguing about it, or whatever the case is, we're just going to tell them, like, you have a little time. I think for staffing purposes, we want to know
We want to
closer
know
to.
before school gets out.
Right.
June.
Right, because let's say.
Probably by May.
By May.
May.
So usually our letters go out to families before Memorial Day. Memorial Day used to be the goal. Now I'm shooting for early May, so I'm hoping by then we'll have definite numbers. Because, I mean, think about it. If all of those, let's say, grade 3 students decide to stay at Rheingold, okay, well, there goes a teacher that we could potentially shift. Now
Right.
they're going to be staying, so we can't shift that
You
teacher.
getting all your bus routes together? Is it going to affect our busing?
It will affect that one bus
One bus.
that goes up into that area, maybe like 1.25 buses, so that bus will shift from being a Rheingold tier bus to a Crocker bus.
We're not
Keep
going to
those
have,
buses efficient,
Yeah.
Donna.
No more buses.
Counting on you.
we're not going to be adding more buses.
Well, we're trying not to.
We're trying not to add a bus, absolutely, trying
So
not
two
to.
questions on the proposed changes for Crocker, where they're up to 24 and a half students. That's just because the grade that's currently going to be moving into that grade has that many children in that class.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So then my other question is, I skipped ahead on the slides here.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to go there?
No. So, but you said that area will only be, that blue area that we saw earlier will only be a bus for Crocker School.
Right.
How does that affect all the kids who currently are at Rheingold, who live in that area, who will be going into second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade?
That's
They're all
what
gonna just
this,
go to Crocker.
they would, that's what we're going to be calling families
That's-
about, to
that-
discuss that with them, to say,
Okay. All right.
there is not going to be a bus. If you want to stay, you can drive your kid or find a way to get them there. At that point, it would be in the family's hands. Like, if you can find an option to transport them, by all means, stay at Rheingold.
I'm just curious, maybe I should have already known this. How many students is the new Crocker
That's a great
supposed to
question.
be able to
8?
accommodate?
Jeremy, I get this wrong every time, but it's 835 or 832? 832.
832.
832 students.
Okay, wow,
Yep.
okay.
So as you can see, we still have a little bit of a capacity.
Well, I'm glad, because I think oftentimes we hear about buildings being made and you already outgrow it before you move in.
No,
Well,
So,
that's the
you know-
thing.
Gardner High
Right.
School.
We didn't
Right.
want to fill it to the brim, so that's why, like,
Yeah.
John
Oh,
and
I'm
I's
glad.
original plan
Right.
was like, okay, let's start with kindergarten, and then each year with these kindergartners, kind of phase it out until those buffer zones shrink to being like
Yeah,
their own
but-
school zones. But with this, when we saw that number for Rheingold next year, we were like, we cannot do that to them. There's just no way. So,
And just to pat our back as a school committee and admin team, if you remember a few years back, remember the state told us how many students, how big that they wanted us to build Crocker based on a certain amount of students, and we pushed back. It was less than this. I think it was almost 200 less. So actually, I think it was high 500s. And we pushed back and said, we need a bigger school. And they went back and looked at the numbers, and sure enough, they changed it to 835. Yeah.
In addition, you have,
Remember that?
When they came in and they
Just
told us we
imagine.
were only going to have so many students, I said, you didn't do your homework,
No.
because
Yeah.
Pittsburgh was growing and the kids were coming.
but Fitchburg is growing, and we have the apartment complex that'll be going in at I'm probably going to say around the Oda Mills building.
Oh, the Yarn Works.
Nope,
Or Ivor Mills, I mean.
Ivor. I had the wrong name.
Yeah, the
So
Ivor
at
Mills, that's
the mill.
96 units.
So that's going to be 96 units.
that's in the Crocker
And
area.
that's in the Crocker area. There's another complex going up off of Franklin Road. I'm not sure how many units it is, I don't remember. But again, up in the Rheingold area of Franklin, so that will affect Rheingold as well.
We have a couple years, but
Yeah, I
it's
mean, we
coming.
have,
And we got a whole lot of downtown
Right.
housing. That's Crocker.
yes.
Or
Well,
McKay.
And see, that's where you can,
We have room to move between.
This is the buffer zone.
Buffer, there you go.
you can use our buffer zones to that if you're looking at a
Because the
heavy.
buses
Right.
go both ways.
A heavy class at Crocker, then you're going to put them at McKay, who might be lower, and we've watched that pretty closely. We've been pretty fortunate to level them out as best we could.
problem, though, too, if you think about it. Our enrollment has grown steadily over the last few years. So, again, where we have a little bit of space with the new Croc building, we're about 100 off from maxing it out.
Now we're looking
well,
at
guess what?
Fitchburg High School.
We've already grown by about 100 or so kids in the last couple of years. So that number could fill up faster, too.
And you got to
During the
remember,
year.
too, we don't have school choice for K to 8 anymore, too. So just imagine if we did have school choice, these numbers would be even.
So they can't come in, they can't choice in.
They can't choice in right now, K to 8. We closed it.
Is
You have it for high
that because
school.
Crocker was under construction?
It was under construction.
Yeah.
Numbers.
Well, and it just, the purpose of the school choice program is to fill empty seats. Well, look at it. We don't have empty seats. We don't have empty seats. We offer some at our high school and then some at Goodrich for students from other communities to come in, but not at PK through 8. So. And then,
Nick, this is the same as the last one, right?
yeah. So this slide really shows the difference in numbers from in each of those grade levels from the current school year to next school year with these changes. So you can really see there how it was just an extra bullet point to add.
Looking
to
at
the
it
list,
differently.
Yeah, to a different viewpoint to look at it for.
Desirable place.
Adding to Crocker, lowering a little bit of Rheingold and McKay's numbers.
Yep. And then, the current fifth grade class moving up to sixth grade too, it's a big class too. So when they move off, it'll really drop the numbers at all of our schools, which would be nice. So
Are we changing anything at Memorial and Longsjo, or are we good at both of those?
We've shifted, again, buffer zones. If we're looking at them, if there's a little bit of a flood for one school in one area, we're like, all right, we'll just stick some of them at the other school. But again, we try and keep siblings together as best we can. And, that's the least of our concern. I think when we ran the numbers last, they're dead even at 212 kids for moving up from 5th to 6th grade next year at both schools. So
These two are amazing.
The numbers people.
Yep.
The work that these two have done, it's
amazing. And,
Because there are probably 20 different scenarios
You can take
that you
some of
can
the
play
credit too,
with,
Donna.
right?
Right.
When you're
Right.
looking at different scenarios
Right.
and the bus routes
Well-
and everything intersecting.
Right. Well, and I think what a lot of people don't understand, and I feel bad for our staff at the school level, when they get their little notification that, hey, you get another kid, they're all pulling their hair out, wondering where they're going to put them. And well, every single time we get one of those kids, we're pulling our hair out, saying, okay, which school is going to be less mad at us this time? Really. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But
A couple of years ago, the first grade was if we get any more first graders who are they're third graders now.
Right, the third graders now, but that was the class that was hammering Crocker like no tomorrow. And I think I had Mr. Bolak calling me up every week saying, "What are you doing to me?" And I'm like, I can't, the kids literally looking at the school from their house. I can't tell them to go to Rheingold or McKay. So, it's tough. But
it's hard when the kids keep coming in. And
right.
I remember as principal, I'd have to, guidance counselors say, Pete, would you go tell so-and-so they're going to have to get another student,
Exactly. Yep. And then last slide here was basically just what we've already talked about. School bus transportation is primarily covered by one bus. That bus will be shifting. There will be no bus to and from Rheingold for this area anymore. So again, for those kindergartners with siblings, the kindergartner has to go whether or not that Rheingold student stays at Rheingold or transfers to Crocker. So
I understand.
Any questions on the proposed shift? Yes, Rosemary.
Not questions, but it really just has the feel of a lot of work has gone in, and it feels good. And the attitude is good. The students are the first consideration.
Yes.
I know we talk about the teachers and the this and that, but it just sounds like everyone will have something to talk to you about. You're willing to talk with them rather than dictate to them.
Right, and that's what it is. I spent many days putting together basically a script for my team. It's just follow this script as best you can. If they ask this question, feed off of here. I really tried to think of every question that people could think of and go off of that and get some feedback.
Somebody asked me a question. Is there a school at South Street that is empty, like the former school?
Yeah, yes, there is. So I think it was right before I started, I think it was in 2009, 2010, the enrollment was decreasing, and they shut the north building down at South Street, so there's a whole building that is not in use.
Like 17 classrooms.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty big.
What's the potential of that, or?
Oh.
Many million, it was
It's-
like 25 million to renovate it.
I was told at one point it was cheaper to knock it down and build a new school than renovate it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think because everything got shut down, water and electricity, to do any renovation, you would have to bring the entire building up to the current code. And that would be
2 years vacant?
Right.
more than 2 years.
More than
2 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
15 years.
Have we gotten a quote for what it would take to demo it?
No, but I would love to get a quote to see.
More parking, please.
Parking was an issue at South Street. We can, if you're okay with that, we could definitely move forward getting a quote and seeing how much it
Should
would
be
be. Yeah.
well into the million.
There's
Millions of dollars to demolish it?
There's a lot of
asbestos.
A lot of
Asbestos?
asbestos.
I mean, if anybody wants to put on a mask and go out there with a hammer themselves, go for it.
I just want to thank you both and your team for being so
Look
proactive
into it.
Yes. Look into
to
it.
see.
Like to put parking
It
there.
would be nice to, because that's not going to get rid of it.
Sorry.
I mean, there's a tree growing.
that you saw these numbers and you were able to come before us very early on to resolve a problem before it became a problem. And I really, really thank you for doing that. Of
course.
And
Thank you.
you have your plan in place, and I'm glad that you
Yeah.
do what you do and do it well. So thank you.
Proactive approach.
We start looking at numbers in like January.
I think Debbie and Jim know, we meet every month, and Nick has the update every month for us, and he knows
For school
what
resource?
nationality, what color, what rate, everything.
We try.
We have it all, and he does that on a
And just the numbers.
yeah.
The numbers going up and down all over the place, yep, always.
Okay, great. Well, thank you both. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck with your emails and phone calls.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Hey, Donna, don't leave just yet, okay? Give me 2 more minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to move into the donations portion.
Yes.
Budget items and policies. So we have 3 donations this evening for your approval. The first donation is from Ultimate Cronus Group, or UKG. They donated $730 worth of new children's books to the new Crocker Elementary School Library. And then the next 2 donations, I want to thank Donna Hildreth for actually securing these 2 donations for our students and families. The first one is Bombas has donated 400 pairs of women's and men's underwear, 300 women's and men's T-shirts in the amount of $3,400 to Fitchburg Public Schools for middle and high school students and families. And then the last donation is the Cradles to Crayons. They donated 1,428 winter coats.
Wow.
With an estimated value of $28,560
Wow.
to Fitchburg to donate to give to our students. Thank you, Donna. We appreciate it.
And I think what's nice about both of those donations, it's for students and families.
And families,
I
exactly.
think it's a nice thing that,
Yep. Yep.
very nice.
We appreciate that, Donna. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving to grants. We have 2 grants to ask for your permission to submit, and these grants we've applied for in the last 2 years. The first one is for the genocide education. There's a new state regulations that talk about us teaching genocide education at the high school level. So we would like to apply for a grant to support that work, up to $40,000. And then the other grant that we would like to apply for is the Civics Teaching and Learning Grant. That supports the civics work that is done at 8th grade and the high school, I think it's at 12th grade, for civics education, which is a requirement. And I think we have a series coming up this week that we are having some of our local officials talking at for our civics education, which is...
Oh, I'll be there. I
You'll
think
be
it's
there.
Friday.
It's Friday, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Which that supports the bus and getting kids there and organizing all that work. So we like permission to apply for that grant in the amount of $34,259. And then the last grant that is to accept this evening, and Lauren Mountain mentioned that, it's the 84 movement for the comic book project for our students at the high school in the amount of $20,000. I'm sorry, middle school, in the amount of $20,000. So those are the grants for approval tonight. And then 2 items for policy this evening. The first one is the non-discrimination and harassment policy. I want to thank Mary Alexandra for working very diligently on this and getting our lawyer to finally get back to us regarding the changes that need to be made.
Because we're going back
to the old Title IX procedures. Because of that, we had to make sure our policy was updated, and luckily there wasn't much we had to change. The only thing we had to change is in the first paragraph, we have to remove the words pregnancy-related conditions. Other than that, everything is correct in that policy, so we need that for approval this evening. Okay. And then the last piece this evening is the graduation policy. We've talked a lot about this, how the competency determination regarding MCAS has changed, and it's moving from taking the MCAS test to coursework. And that is in front of you this evening for your approval. If you go on the back, just a reminder that students need to receive a passing grade in grade 10 English, a passing grade in Algebra 1 and Geometry, and then a passing grade in Biology or Physics moving forward, because the MCAS test is no longer used to determine the competency determination. So that's for approval this evening, too.
Question, you said this non-discrimination.
Oh, that's for the first reading, my apologies.
The first reading, does that have to be, has to be an action item or not? Because it's not on the agenda as an action item.
No. Not
Does
yet.
not have to be, okay.
It's just the first reading. The second one has to be on the action. But the graduation requirements is an action item this evening. Yeah. Okay. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Superintendent. All right, committee members, we have before us 25-479 through 25-484.
Make a motion to bundle?
Second.
Motion and second to bundle all action items 25-479 through 25-484. Any comment or question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. We have a bundle before us.
Make a motion to approve 479 through 484.
Second?
Motion and second to approve the bundle as noted. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Once again, a unanimous vote. That concludes our action items. Other business? We have no other business? And we have no executive session. And last on our agenda is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn the meeting, and I'll take that as unanimous consent. We're adjourned.